the ability to decipher and figure things out, not just in the classroom, because again, it teaches you how to think, but in your identity and your branding and your personal brand and what that looks like to the outside world. You know, for me, Columbia presented it's a microcosm of not just this city, but of the world, right? Because I spent a significant time walking around that campus, presenting myself in a certain way, such that people didn't even believe I went to the school. They thought I was just a kid from Harlem. Because Columbia says it's in Morningside Heights, but anybody knows that anything north of 110th Street is Harlem. So something that simple is that differentiator that, you know, I had engineering books in my backpack, but people probably thought I had something else in my backpack, is a thought process in and of itself for you to have to identify with or not and figure out in this prestigious institution. The fact that I was in an engineering school and not some other type of major where kids that looked like me were predominantly, I was the only black male to graduate from the mechanical engineering program 4 years later. That was it. It was me. That looked like me. That was it. There were a few of us that started. I was the only one that finished. And that in and of itself is a thought process, because that can screw with your head too, you know? So for me, it was just, look, I need to figure this thing out, and I need to get through it, and it teaches you how to do that. You can learn a lot of stuff in books, but it's really how you apply it to life that makes the difference. And for me, my college experience really taught me how to apply my thinking. So before maybe I should tell you guys what I do. Not that I said it before, but nobody still knows what I do. So my role is to impact MLB's cost, spend. Everybody gets the idea of profit and loss, right? So a company makes money, that's your revenue, and then you spend money because you need to sustain your business. The amount of money you make minus the amount of money you spend is your net profit. That's what you're left with. That's how much you are worth. It's like your own bank account. If you make $1 million in a year, but you spend $999,000 of it, you're still broke, right? So my job is to control the spend. How do I do that? The companies that we buy stuff from, and stuff could be anything. It could be the pens and papers that we use in the office. It could be hiring a construction company to renovate a baseball stadium for us. It could be anything, just stuff, goods and services. The companies that we buy stuff from, my job is to make sure that some of those companies are diverse owned by minorities, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, Indians, owned by women, owned by veterans. You come home from the war, you start your own company. My job is to make sure that, thank you for serving our country, let's help you out. Small businesses, just getting started, right? So I have an overall responsibility of saying, look, I need to be mindful of how much money MLB spends, period, but then I also need to make sure that some of that is being circulated into the right communities. That's my job. With that said,
it got to be a tweetable answer because they're gonna cut us off at a second.
Right. With that said, you know, my pinch me moment probably is the first time I made my first millionaire. So, an African American company provided IT services, and to give a black man a check for $1 million, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that.
If you want to relive that, our senior pastor is sitting right here. I'm sure he'll gladly take that. So I want to thank our panelists, Corey, Patrick. Thank you guys for coming out and being with us. And I'm going to turn it back to our host. Thank you very much.